is the Fade 5 Podcast with Brad Evans and Nate Lundy.
Place your bets, you jackwagons. It's the Fade 5 Podcast. Indeed, it is here on a Hashtag Tequila Thursday presented by Suavecito Tequila. For the love of the gambling gods, go pick up a bottle of Suavecito right now at your local Total Wine & More or your local liquor store. And if they don't have it, demand it. You got to have it because you need to have a little betting fiesta tonight. And Lundy with no Thursday night football tonight on this Hashtag Tequila Thursday. We're going to turn our attention to the hardwood. As you know, and our audience, I think, kind of knows, I'm a college hoops junkie. Injected into my damn veins every single night. I watch, I scout, I devour as much of that action is humanly possible because I play the bracketology role. And I just talked to my editor yesterday at Bally Sports, shout out Joe Lago, and the bracket big board is going to make its triumphant return on January 30th this year is what I decided to do. So yeah, we got some time. It's too early to be, kind of deciphering and sifting through all the various seeds and projected number one seeds and all that jazz because conference action just got underway. But I will be back in all of my glory January 30th on Bally Sports with a bracket big board. But
it's what a tease. What a freaking tease. Oh, this is going to be great. Oh, I'm sorry, guys. You got to wait 25 days to see it. Man, that's
well.
rude.
Here's the other good news. Starting Monday of next week, I'm going to be writing a new big noise, big bet of the day, all college basketball every single day of the week. So there's that appetizer until I reveal my projected field again later this month.
Okay, that's a little bit better because at least you're only waiting until Monday. But why you gotta drop? That's like, okay, Brad, it's January 5th. That would be like me sitting back and going, I have got a great Christmas present for you this year.
Well, nobody cares about college hoops in general until after the damn Super Bowl anyway. So let's go ahead and give people a little taste of the college hardwood action. And looking at the futures market right now across the various sports book, what is your national title pick to click? If you got $20, $50, $100 burning a hole in your pocket right now and you're letting that money ride for the next several weeks and I know months, and I know you hate tying up your money for that long, but if you just had some indisposable cash, who you gonna apply that to, and who could hoist the hardware here come early April?
Well, Brad, I think, I have a lot of disposable cash. I'm just laying around like if you could see, there's just piles of it surrounding me right now. No, there isn't. That's exactly why I hate tying up my money, but you always put me on the spot like this with futures. Here's what I'll tell you, Brad. I really wish I had the, say, $20-$25 of disposable money maybe 3 months ago. Because the team that I'm going to roll with was 66-1 to start the season and is now down to 11-1. So if you put me on the spot, I will go with UConn at 11-1 right now. Now, a couple of reasons why. One, I'm not going to make this bet anyway, so screw it because, you know me, I don't.
They've lost back-to-back games, so you might actually get this at a better value here in short order.
Yeah, I know, exactly. A couple of reasons why. One, if you're a fan of the pod, you've been a part of this for a while, you've watched Brad and I over the years on television, you know that my wife is a Jayhawk, and therefore, if I don't pick Kansas, basically, I don't get to see her naked for like months on end. So, I gotta be careful with my pick. So obviously with KU, that would be the back-to-back. By the way, the most handle right now with our friends at BetMGM is on the Kansas Jayhawks, but I actually credit that to the fact that Kansas just joined the sports betting party here. And so, of course, all the residents of the state of Kansas are rolling with their Jayhawks. That's the reason why there's so much handle on it. But with UConn, and I don't want to steal your thunder because I think I know where you're going with this one. UConn is one of only 2 teams, Brad, that ranks in the top 10 in both adjusted offensive efficiency and adjusted defensive efficiency, according to Ken Palm. So I will roll with them at 11-1. But the other team that ranks in the top 10 in both adjusted offensive and adjusted defensive efficiency, Mr. Evans, I yield the floor to you.
Yes, and that is the UCLA Bruins. That is my pick to click and win the national title this season at plus 1,400 right now at BetMGM. They also have the 5th longest winning streak. It currently stands at 10 games in college basketball. UCLA is magnificent. You know, they got the strong guard play there, spearheaded by Tiger Campbell, the consummate point guard. Then you have Jaime Jaquez, who is still there and still getting buckets at will, inside, outside. Jalen Clark has really elevated his game, particularly on the defensive end, but also contributing consistently offensively. They don't have the greatest depth in the world, but they have balance, and they have statistical balance as well. So whether you're looking at the numbers, whether you're looking at the game film, they have all of the goods necessary to win the national title this season. They only have 2 blemishes on the resume right now, and possibly lost to my Fighting Illini team, which is looking like a more abhorrent loss by the day with the way that Illinois has fallen short, and dramatically so here in recent weeks. They lost that game on a neutral floor in Vegas. They also lost in that tournament to the Baylor Bears. That was way back in November. They've won every game since. And you might say, well, what's the Pac-12? They're a bunch of patsies. They're not going to really prepare this UCLA team for the rigors of the NCAA tournament. And I understand that. I mean, Arizona is definitely a team that could maybe belong in a Final Four conversation. But after that, the Pac-12 is rather lackluster. But again, it's all about experience. It's all about the well-roundedness of this team. And I think, the staff has got to be really excited to get, to the NCAA tournament and to make some serious noise. I think they're going to be ultimately a 1 or 2 seed, and they will be my pick to click again at plus 1,400 there to win the national title. So Mick Cronin, get it done. I know you're a fiery dude, but it could be smiles come April. All right, Lundy, with that already on the books, let's get after it on this College Hoops edition on a hashtag Tequila Thursday. Bartender, pour me a Suavecito at another edition of the Fade 5.
Number 5.
All right, let's go to the wiggity whack conference and a matchup that everybody is clearly going to be watching. Grand Canyon taking on Sam Houston State. And Sam Houston State's made some noise this season. They're actually a bit of an analytics darling right now in the mid-major market, top 70, according to Bart Torvik in overall standing. But I'm taking the visiting GCU Lopes and the plus 3.5. Admittedly, this has come down. The line opened, and I grabbed it last night immediately when it opened at plus 5.5. And now it's down to plus 3.5 at MGM. At some books, it's at 3 flat, and it could shrink even further. The juice, the standard minus 110. Why am I high on GCU on the road in this game? It's very simple. It's all about maximizing the matchup here and 3-point percentage defense. Grand Canyon, number 35 in the country in that category, giving up just 29.3%. And you look at Sam Houston, very good and really thrive and are dependent on those triples hitting, shooting 39.2% from distance on the season. Yeah, Grand Canyon's got a little bit of turnovers. It's been a problem at times this year. And Sam Houston, number 6 in turnover percentage defense. And the tempo in this game is going to be rather slow. But, you look at Sam Houston, they lost to Northwestern State and Alcorn State at home. And you look at Grand Canyon, they had some success on the road. They beat my Cowboys, Wyoming on the road this year as well, which would have been a tremendous victory last year. Not so much necessarily this year, but still they have some of that confidence away from Phoenix. So Lundy, fade or follow in this battle of the whack. my Grand Canyon pick plus 3.5 at Sam Houston State minus 110 at BetMGM.
Grand Canyon?
Grand Canyon.
There's a university in the middle. Is it in the Grand Canyon?
No,
it's not named after. Oh.
And you know, I know you're being sarcastic, but they have one of the best home court environments. I know this game's going to be played at Sam Houston State, but one of the best home court environments all of college basketball. It's rowdy and raucous. The fans are great.
Okay. I'm dude, I got to follow you on this one. I don't know jack shit about Grand Canyon. You pulled this one out of some orifice that I don't want to know about, because here I am, like, I'm getting ready for the pod. I'm like, all right, hey, we're gonna have some fun. We got some college hoops, and I'm looking at this like last night. I'm watching some hockey, and I'm looking at the college basketball schedule for tonight and for this afternoon. I'm like, man, there are some really good games for Brad to choose from. And then I sit down to do the podcast, and you've got Grand Canyon and Sam Houston State. Brad, there are some, and I know you're going to get to some of them, but there's some really good matchups. And this is what you chose? You're killing me, dude. You're killing me.
I absolutely am killing you. In fact, I'm throwing you into the damn Grand Canyon plus 3.5.
Number 4.
All right, numero quattro, another game that Lundy knows all the intimate details about. Hawaii and UCSD. That is University of California, San Diego. Lundy, before I offer my selection, do you have any idea what the UCSD mascot is? What is the nickname?
Crap. No, I knew this. I
had to look it up, admittedly, because I didn't know.
No, part of the reason that I knew it was because they were part of a pick on You Bet Tonight on my television show about 3.5 weeks ago. Crap. No, I don't remember. What is it?
They are the Tritons.
That's right. That's right. Thank you. Oh my gosh, I can't believe I didn't remember that, because even my co-host Todd Romero, great, love Todd. Todd actually knew it, which was what really threw me off, because I thought I was going to catch him off guard, and he was like, "Oh yeah, the Tritons." But no, so I digress. But yes, the Tritons, and I grew up. They were the Fighting Rainbows.
Yeah, then they're the Rainbow Warriors, and they dropped the Rainbow. They were just the Warriors. I think they're back to the Hawaii Rainbow Warriors now. It doesn't matter. I've got a Glorious University of Hawaii shirt with a Rainbow Warrior on it. So that's what I'm sticking with. And you know what else I'm sticking with in this game? I'm taking the under, 126.5 minus 110 at BetMGM. Here's the reason why. These are two of the slowest tempo teams in the country. Hawaii, number 313 in adjusted tempo. UCSD, number 303 in that category. And Hawaii, maybe a tournament team, and they could be a scary one because they lock down defensively. Number 16 in the country in effective field goal percentage. They're allowing just 44.5% inside the arc, 27.7% outside of it. You look at the fact that Hawaii has struggled at times offensively, number 190 in EFG percentage offense. But you look at UCSD, they are rancid, putting ball through the basket. Number 303 in effective field goal percentage offense. So, again, slower pace, offenses that are wildly inconsistent, really build skyscrapers, all the bricks laid, kind of pull that together. And Hawaii, really the better team, though they are on the road here. This one may be in the 50s in the end. So that's why I'm taking the under 126.5 minus 110 at BetMGM. Lundy, are you going to remember the Tritons? Are you going to follow me on this pick?
Well, I am going to follow, because I've actually used the Fighting Rainbow Warrior. Like, I don't know. Can they just make their mascot Dwayne Johnson from Moana? Anyway, no, I'm going to roll with this, because I've used this bet before on the TV show, Brad, because of the pace that Hawaii plays. Yep. You and I have a phrase. It's actually a pool that I belong to, a football pool that I belong to, called "There's Always the Hawaii Game," with a bunch of buddies here in the Denver area. And The idea is there's always a late night bet that you can do. And so Hawaii has been, I've used it a couple of times on the show, and it's almost always been tied to the total because of just how slow they are. So I think this is a great bet. Tritons, the fighting Dwayne Johnsons, whatever you got for Hawaii. I'm with you. I think this game winds up like what, 58 to 52. I mean, it really could be something like that. These two teams both extremely slow. Good call.
Hawaii UCSD, take the under and score some cash.
Number 3.
Oh, finally, some teams that Lundy really knows something about. Let's go to the Atmospheric River, the Pineapple Express, the soaking that California is experiencing right now, and focus on a matchup and a rivalry game in the City of Angels, USC at UCLA. These two schools really separated by just a couple of miles, which will take you an hour to travel to if you do it by car in Los Angeles. I am going to go with the visiting Trojans in this one, catching 11.5 at -110 at BetMGM. I know we're already saying, but Brad, you just picked UCLA to win the national title. I understand that. I'm not saying they're going to lose this game. In fact, I think they're going to win, and they could win comfortably. But 11.5 points in a rivalry matchup is just too many. Last year, with the similar players on the floor, USC lost by 3 and 7 points in those pair of matchups. And you look at SC this season, number 1 in the Pac-12 so far in offensive rebounding percentage because they have that length and they really get after with those second chance opportunities. And number 1 in 2-point percentage D, giving up just 35.3% inside the arc. It's all about Morgan and White and Drew Peterson. Those guys are all, I think, 6'7", 6'8 plus, and they have that length and on-ball skills defensively to thwart the opposition. You look at UCLA, they do have a 3 advantage in this game. They're shooting over 37% in Pac-12 action, and SC right now dead last in the Pac-12 in 3-point percentage D, giving up 40% so far in conference play. So that is a concern. You know, UCLA could be lights out with Campbell and Jaquez from downtown, but I think ultimately SC, due to their prowess, due to their presence defensively inside the arc, will limit a lot of those second chance opportunities. It'll be a lot of one and dones. If they can score, and I know that could be a chore in this one, given UCLA's ability to play defense, they should keep this under 10 and score me a cover in the end. So Lundy, USC plus 11.5 at UCLA -110 at BetMGM. Fade or follow?
I enjoy USC because I think you could, we all know the famous Key and Peele skit. I'm a big fan of Boogie Ellis. I'm a big fan of anybody with the name Boogie. It just, like, if you get to the point where you are just known as Boogie, that's just cool. You're a cool son of a bitch if you're known as Boogie. The trick is they need him to not foul out, which is what happened last week. Would they play Washington State? And I think he only logged like 27 minutes or something like that, and actually fouled out with only 20 points, and they need him to keep this one close. So, my guess is UCLA will try to see if they can bait him into some stupid fouls since he managed to foul out in the game last week. But I agree with you. In a rivalry game like this, UCLA wins, but I think this is too many points. And by the way, this game will come back around in bonus time. Oh, a little tease.
Oh, a little preview there. I thought you were going to go Hingle McCrinkleberry on me there a second with a Key and Peele reference. But Boogie Ellis, a nice consolation prize, even better.
Dude, your name is Boogie. That is so freaking cool.
It really is.
I'm Nate. Like, that's boring.
Yeah, and he's going to make it dance tonight because he can fill up the box score and hopefully he will score us a cash cover in the end. So we can go spend it on some Suavecito. The Fade 5 here on the Hashtag Tequila Thursday is presented by the Suavecito Tequila. Pick up a bottle now. Are you not familiar with Suavecito? Let me give you a little education. In 2015, Forbes magazine in the NYC contacted 10 tequila experts around the country, one in Cali, Texas, Florida, New York. People who know tequila, and they asked them one simple question. was the best tasting tequila sold in these United States. And 1 week later, on the front page of Forbes magazine, was a picture of a bottle of Suavecito Añejo. Grab some love juice tonight and throw a betting fiesta on this hashtag Tequila Thursday. Get Suavecito at any Total Wine and More store or ask for it where you are. We consider it a favor. Gracias.
Number 2.
All right, numero dos here on the Fade 5 podcast. Let's go with the Big Ten. And let's go with the Ohio State. Yes, against a top-ranked team in the country, the visiting Purdue Boilermakers, coming off difficult last-second loss to Rutgers at home. I like the Buckeyes to hand them back-to-back L's. I'm going to lay the 1.5 here in Columbus, minus 110 at DraftKings Sportsbook. Ohio State, I think it's one of the best kept secrets right now in college basketball. And, not a lot of people really talking about them on the national scene. Team that's playing exceptionally well. Zed Key versus Shaq Edey. That's a nickname that my buddy Rob Doster and Jeff Goodman have said on the field of 68. He also goes by Zach Edey, but Shaq Edey certainly applies. Anything within 5 feet, 6 feet of the rim, it's going through the cylinder when the guy is standing at 7+ feet and a wide body of sorts. But, Key's going to have quite the tall task, and literally so, defending him. But I think he can hold his own ground. Not only that, too, but, both these teams top 5 nationally in offensive efficiency. But the shortcoming for Purdue is the kick-out game and ability to splishy splash from outside. They're only shooting 30.5% from distance as a team. So as good as Edey is, if you don't have that action going through the cylinder and you're executing from long range, makes you very one-dimensional. And I think that's a problem for them. Ohio State, meanwhile, shooting 37.5% from three. Sensabaugh has been great. Thornton equally is great. OSU as well, number 24 in the country in effective field goal percentage D. So with a likely raucous and rowdy home crowd there in Columbus, and that's going to play a factor. I think the Ohio State, the Fighting Eddie Georges, minus 1.5, take care of business against the visiting Purdue Boilermakers, minus 110 at DraftKings. Lundy, fade or follow.
Back-to-back. I'm with you. I'll take the back-to-back losses for Purdue. Lay the points with Ohio State in this one, because if there's one thing that Brad loves to get drunk on tequila and do, it's watch Big Ten basketball. So
I do.
I will yield the floor to you on this one. I trust you on the Buckeyes and their ability to hand Purdue that loss. 1.5, solid. If you don't like to deal with that, you could alt line, you could take them just straight money line, pair it up with something else if you want to give yourself that buffer. But I would roll with Ohio State easily with this one. Take it to the bank.
Not up with the Buckeyes.
Number 1.
Well, let's stick with that Big Ten theme, shall we? And here's a mystery, and I really don't understand why this line has come down. It opened at 6. And it is down to minus 4.5 for the home squad, who usually dominates on their home floor, and Rutgers take it on the Maryland Terrapins. And I'm going to go with a chalk. I don't care where the line action is going. I still think Rutgers is going to score the cover in this game at the minus 4.5 at minus 110 on FanDuel. And here's the reason why. One of the staunchest defenses in college basketball. That's what Michael has in the Scarlet Knights. Number 2 in the nation in adjusted defensive efficiency, giving up just 0.844 points per possession. Rutgers 2, number 4 in effective field goal percentage D, and number 12 in turnover percentage D. So they apply pressure on the ball, they create miscues and mistakes, and they normally take advantage of that. Amore is an absolute stalwart inside, one of the best shot blockers around, one of the best dunkers in the Big Ten as well. And that's why, Rutgers is top 3 in conference play and offensive rebounding percentage. You look at Maryland, what team are you going to get? They lost by 6 at Wisconsin, so they were competitive in that game. And then they went to Ann Arbor and they lost by 35 to what I believe is kind of a middle-of-the-road Michigan team. Hunter Dickinson and friends there. You look at this team, number 14 in offensive efficiency, so they are dead last right now in the Big Ten in that category. So really struggling to score. And defensively, they're outside the top 10 in conference action and defensive efficiency as well. So, balanced in the wrong way is Maryland right now. So Rutgers minus 4.5. I am vexed that this line is moving south, or it should be going the other direction. Lundy, you got to fade or follow me, or you got to side with maybe some of the sharp action minus 110 at FanDuel.
Yeah, there's sharp money that's moving this, and I'm kind of with you that I'm finding myself scratching my head a little bit. But look, when I start seeing stuff like that happen, there are people a hell of a lot smarter than me, a hell of a lot smarter, by the way, that are causing that to happen. So Brad, everything about me says lay the 4.5, hell, lay the 6 where it opened. But the fact that it's moving the way it is, I like the fact that there's some value. I honestly think that this game, because of how the line is moving, has me sit back as a bettor and say, okay, something's up. There's something about how this line is moving. So I think what I probably would do with this game, Brad, is I'd get away. I think Rutgers can win. But there's probably a reason that we're seeing this line movement, and maybe we haven't quite dialed in on what it is. So what I probably would do is decide to go with Rutgers on the money line and put it with something else. Put it with another game, or maybe even a couple that I really like. Take Rutgers on the money line and then snag a game or maybe two. Get yourself to like a plus 110, 115. And that's the way that I would go, just because I don't trust this line movement.
Well, do it with Ohio State and get it easy plus money on a two-legger right there on money lines. Yeah, why the hell not?
You could go with something like that. So that's what I would do personally as a bettor on this one, because I don't trust the fact, like, if we were seeing this thing move by a point, so be it. But we've seen it move by 2. And that's a lot for movement in less than 24 hours on a game that only started. I mean, this thing's moved a third, if you will. So I just don't trust that. So I think what I would do is I would trust Rutgers to win, but I'd slide it over. I'd take the money line. I'd put it with something else.
Joust them, Scarlet Knights. Get it done. They're going to cover the 4.5. Hell, I think they're going to cover the 6, 6.5. It doesn't matter. All right, Lundy, let's move on. It's bonus time. After I lost all my money on Rutgers, I'm going to need something to chase. So serve it up to me, would you?
I got a couple for you. Let's stick in college basketball. I told you I was going to come back to that USC game. Brad, I put together an alt line for you that I think you will like. Just on the late night tip here with some Pac-12 basketball. Take that spread in the USC game that we said was at 11.5. Bump it up to 15.5. Get yourself a little bit of a buffer. Then bring the line down on the matchup between the Wildcats and the Huskies, between Arizona and Washington. That one is actually Arizona, I think, minus 21 right now. I brought it down to 13.5.
Ooh.
Just in case. Now, Washington's not very good, folks.
No.
They're not. So I don't even think you need to bring it down that far. But I took USC to 15.5, Arizona down to 13.5. That's plus 108 at DraftKings. So it's pretty simple. It's not very sexy, but it is plus money. And by the way, I did look at this one. If you took those two and then just add Utah on the money line against my Oregon State Beavers, this actually bumps up even higher. You get it up to like plus 135, 140 in that range. And Oregon State sucks. Utah's favored, I think, by 12. So you could take them just straight money line if all you wanted to do was bump this up on the juice. But a little bit of Pac-12 basketball for you tonight. Brad already hit on that game. Like I said, Arizona should absolutely roll. This Huskies team for Washington surprised Tad Boyle and the Colorado Buffaloes. Otherwise, they have just been an absolute shit show since. I mean, they lost to my Oregon State Beavers in Corvallis. They just came off of last weekend getting blown out by the LA schools. Arizona should not have any problem whatsoever. Then 10 games on the ice tonight in the NHL. So I want to drop. Okay, this is I tell you guys not to get greedy with your parlays, and here I am about to get greedy for you. This is a 4-leg money line for you. I'm going to ride the hot hand, or the hot stick, if you will, that is the New York Rangers. The Toronto Maple Leafs are at home. They should take care of the Kraken. Washington is on the road against Columbus, and Carolina is at home against Nashville. If you take just money line On all 4 of those teams, it is plus 368. Now, if you don't want to get greedy, folks, and you want to back this one down, the 2 that I feel the strongest about of that mix are the Maple Leafs and Carolina. And if you just take those 2 on the money line by themselves, they're both at home, you're going to get that at plus 111. Biggest reason why, 1, it's Toronto at home against Seattle. Seattle is improving, but folks, they're still Seattle. And Toronto is pretty good. The other reason why, Carolina is coming off of a loss to the red-hot New York Rangers, but prior to that, the Canes had won 11 in a row. I have a feeling they're going to get back on the winning side of things at home against a very Jekyll and Hyde Nashville team right now. So that big 4-legger that I gave you, Rangers, Toronto, Washington, Carolina, that's plus 368. But if you want the 2 strongest plays, I think it's Toronto and Carolina. Those are plus 111. There you go, Brad.
All right, real quick, let me get an NBA selection in here. I'm going to take the under on Jaylen Brown made threes against the Mavs tonight. That number is standing at 2.5. He has hit the under in 2 of his last 3. He's averaging exactly what the line is at, 2.5 made threes per game this season. He's jacked 7.6 shots from distance on the year, but he's only hitting 33.5% on the season. He faced Dallas earlier this season. He had 2 made threes, so he hit the under there. And the Mavericks have allowed in their last 10 games the second lowest 3-point percentage of any team in the NBA at 31.9%. So again, Jaylen Brown under 2.5 made threes for me. In college basketball, 2 more quick selections. Give me the over in Santa Clara and Pepperdine. That number is sitting at 152. We got 2 of the fastest teams in the country. Santa Clara, number 66 in tempo. Pepperdine at number 16. They're both 3-point centric, and they're both hitting 36.1% from downtown on the year. Santa Clara scored at least 70 points 10 times this season. Pepperdine has achieved the same feat 11 times this year. This game is likely going to be in the upper 70s, could be in the lower 80s in the end. So give me Pepperdine on the over with Santa Clara at 152. And Florida Atlantic against UAB is the other one I like. I will lay the 2 points with the Owls, who are 10-1 ATS this season. They have been covering machines. FAU, top 35 in effective field goal percentage, offense and defense on the season. In conference play, they're allowing just 0.742 points per possession. I mean, UAB could very well be a tournament team. The Blazers are quite good, but Florida Atlantic at home, -2, given the covering history, just given their strengths in general, I think the Owls, hooty-hoo, find a way to score the cover in the end. And speaking of the end, that is a wrap on the Fade 5 podcast on this Hashtag Tequila Thursday, presented by Suavecito. Again, rate and review us right now. Drop us something. If you don't mind, do so, and do so kindly. Also, feed or follow each one of us on the Twitter. Follow Lundy and all his free spreadsheet picks at Nate Lundy. I do the same exercise at Noisy Huevos. For Nate Lundy, I'm Brad Evans. As always, until next time, feed or follow. That is up to you.